Today I want to share how I prep nails for gel. Extensive and careful nail prep is key to a longer lasting gel manicure. Let's start off with a list of products that I feel that you need and then some optional products. One step that is very important, often overlooked, is sanitizing. You want to sanitize your hands and the area you're working on. A 100 and 180 grit file, a 220-240 grit file, a cuticle pusher and scraper, alternatively some orange wood sticks, dehydrator, and an acid-free primer. Some optional products, some wet wipes, cuticle clippers, a hard bristle dust brush. Okay, so let's start by sanitizing and cleaning the area we're going to work in using our sanitizer and a wet wipe. Clean the surface you're working on, and then of course sanitize your hands too. We want to stay clear of any infections, and of course all your tools should be sanitized as well. Then we're going to shape our nails first with a 220-240 file. I like to have a rounded nail, and I do round out my edges. A lot of people have said they round themselves out, but I do not find that they do. So I'm going to file like this, slightly under, and then just sweep across. You can go in a back and forth motion. There's a bit of a myth that it breaks your nails, but it doesn't. But I personally like to just go in one direction and then the other, especially when you're doing like almond shape or round nails. It's just easier to get that symmetry. Take your time doing this, look at it from all different angles, and then just repeat the same for every nail. My nails are going to be a little bit everywhere, mainly because the ones that I'm keeping long, I've been trying to grow long for a while, so I don't want to cut them too short. But yes, I take my time. I want to get that shape as perfect as possible, and then using a brush, just wipe everything away. It gives you a much clearer view of what your nails actually look like. And then optional, you can take a wet wipe, and I find that this actually helps get rid of all the leftover dust a little bit more. It gives you a clearer view of what the shape of your nail looks like versus alcohol, because alcohol dries up the skin a lot around your nails. So sometimes it can make that skin look a little bit white, and it kind of like throws off the look of your nails. Once you're happy with how they are looking, and now we're just going to remove again any kind of humectants or occlusives that wipe may have put on our fingernails, and just removing any excess filing dust that we may have missed with the wet wipe, the makeup wipe, whatever you want to use. Now we're going to go in the cuticle pusher. I really like this one from Shiny because it's got nice rounded edges, so it's never fully scraping at the nail. A lot of what you're seeing here is actually leftover product from the builder that I've recently removed from my nails. I don't try to get as much off as possible, so whilst you should be able to remove all your product in the removal process, you may come across some extra bits when you're pushing your cuticles back. Then I flip the cuticle pusher over and use the scraping side. This is to remove all that dead cuticle. Do be careful around the sidewalls. We want to leave those sidewalls nice and strong, so don't go picking and filing too much around the sidewalls. It looks like I'm being quite harsh, but it's such a good tool. It's just kind of flaking off everything. And of course, repeat this whole process for your whole hands. Be very careful. You don't want to cut yourself in any way and open your skin up to any possibility of getting allergies if any product does get into your skin, so be very gentle. Once they're all done, again, wipe everything away with a brush, clean your surface. Now we're going to use the 100-180 grit buffing file to add a bit of texture to the nail. This is gentle enough to use on your natural nail without, like filing any layers away. This is going to help your base stick to the nail better, whilst also kind of like refining the texture of your nails as well, evening out any product that may still be left on there from a previous set, but it can also help show where you've missed some dead cuticle or dead skin that needs to be removed. Using very gentle swipes, and of course use that curved tip to get right into the cuticle area. Again, push that cuticle back, or the proximal nail fold, I should say more technically. Once that is done, we can kind of see all the dead skin of that nail fold, and this is where the kind of more controversial step comes in, and that is the clippers. Listen, to cut a long story short, if you haven't been trained to do this, don't do this. But if you are going to do it, hold it like this, so you get a lot more grip and you can control the pressure a lot easier. Next up, what I'm going to do, and this is going to be hard to explain, is I'm going to find that dead skin. You can kind of see where it's like white and hanging over. Put some pressure and lean back. So I'm kind of putting pressure and almost like isolating that dead skin, and then I'm clipping. Do the same for everywhere around the nails. I would actually advise against doing this if you are a DIYer. I've seen some really awful kind of messed up fingernails from people trying to do clipping and Russian manicures. But once it's all done, it will look like that. Wipe again any kind of dust that the buffer may have made and do that on all your nails. Next up, one of the most important steps is your dehydrator or pre-primer. You can just use acetone here. The idea is to get rid of any excess oils, moisture, or contaminants that's kind of been on your natural nail. Primers, one of the most important things. This is an acid-free primer. A lot of people have said you just put it on the center of your nails, but I think this comes from when acid-free primers were not acid-free and had acid in, so you still do want to be careful not to touch the skin, but you apply this wherever you find your nails usually lift or chip. I just put it everywhere and my nails stick on. And what this does is temporarily change the pH of your nail, kind of making it match the pH of your gel base, helping with adhesion again. So you want to use this and then get straight into using your base gel. Be very sparing with this though. If you use this and your nail looks wet and it's not drying, you want to start again. Too much can actually have the opposite effect of what you want it to do. And then you are ready for your base. As I said, make sure that acid primer is completely dry, you used it sparingly, and get straight into using your base. You can kind of see when I'm applying this that the side will still look a little bit white. This is just where they are dried out because of the amount of alcohol we've been using. Once we get into using a cuticle oil, once our design is done, and they're gonna look nice and fleshy again. On that note, once you have done your nails, give it a good 2 minutes before you start asking clients to wash their hands or before you start using cuticle oil or any hand cream. So my nails are done. This is the design I've gone for, and I'm going to be using an Ifcare cuticle oil. It's extremely watery, and at first I absolutely hated it, but once you kind of use it and get to know it, it's amazing. It feels like a bit more skincare than oil, so it's very, very light, very hydrating and moisturizing too. And you can see that once you rub it into those drier patches, that whiteness just kind of goes, so your nails look nice and fresh. Not a dry patch in sight, so give that a good rub in, and then they are done. So please do let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below. If you're having problems with your nails lifting, let us know in the comments so we could have a little discussion about it. But yes, take your time with your nail prep. Good nail prep leads to longer lasting gel nails.